Hey there. Are you feeling overwhelmed today? Way too many things on your to-do list? Get in line, right? Wondering what you'll fix for dinner? I have an idea for you. Sheet pan dinners that take 30 minutes or less. They're quick, easy, and satisfying. And I have a freebie with 4 recipes for you too. Just what you need to make your day a little bit easier right after this.
Looking to change up your vitamin routine? ProCare has a new multivitamin soft chew that comes with 3 delicious fruit flavors. With flexible dosing, you can accommodate your whole family's vitamin needs, and it even includes iron. Paired with calcium chews and our new protein powder. Visit ProCareNow.com and use code Susan10 to save 10%.
Hi, I'm registered dietitian nutritionist Dr. Susan Mitchell, ex-radio dietitian turned podcaster. You're listening to the Bariatric Surgery Success podcast, episode number 99. I'm here to help you cut through all the health hype, give you accurate, evidence-based nutrition information, step-by-step strategies that can change your life now, help you feel great so that you get out there every day and do all the things you want to do. This podcast is for you. Well, before we talk sheet pan dinners, I had a blast talking nutrition for success after weight loss surgery with Dr. Connie on her podcast, Bariatric Care. One of the listeners said, "What an awesome episode. I'm downloading it for future reference to review post-op. I enjoy and respect you both. Just awesome." That was so nice to hear. Thank you. If you listen regularly, you know that Dr. Connie's the bariatric psychologist who's my podcast guest every 6 weeks or so. She helps you deal with tough mental health issues that are often a part of this journey. You can listen to her podcast, Bariatric Care, on Google or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. She also did it on video. Yes, she did. And it's on YouTube. So I'll put the links in the show notes. It was a long interview where my podcast, as you know, typically run 7-10 minutes, maybe 15 or so when there's a guest. But ours, I think, went 40-45 minutes. We did a lot of talking about eating for the long haul after your surgery. I think you'll enjoy it. All right. So you'll laugh at this one. I told my husband I was writing a podcast on sheet pan dinners, and he says, "What's a sheet pan dinner?" I laughed and said, "Well, you have a lot of them, and you sure seem to enjoy every single bite." A sheet pan dinner is when the majority of dinner is prepared on one pan, a sheet pan. And you might be thinking, why sheet pan dinners? Don't knock it till you try it. There are lots of benefits to sheet pan dinners. Some of my favorites include number 1, basically you're using one pan, so you have a lot less dishes to clean up. This is beautiful when time is tight, which is many days, right? And number 2, it's easy to put together. You can use a non-stick sheet pan or parchment paper on a regular sheet pan if you want the cleanup to be even easier. And the size of the pan is up to you. I use a full-size sheet pan, which is about the 12-inch by 17-inch one, which is 30.5 centimeters by 43 centimeters. But there are also half sheet pans, quarter sheet pans. But this is the way I look at it. If I'm going to use a sheet pan, I'm using the large one so that, number 3, you can easily fix enough for leftovers or to put in the freezer for quick meals later on. Number 4, sheet pans, a very easy way to cook healthy, nutritious foods and add more veggies to your diet. You're never going to run out of ideas to try. And to get you started, I have 4 sheet pan dinner recipes for you to try. Just find the link to the freebie. I'll put it in the show notes. So let me tell you about one of my go-to sheet pan dinners. I probably do this every week or so. It consists of bell peppers, onions, and shrimp. How easy is that? 3 ingredients, right? I look for bell peppers in red, green, orange, and yellow. And I want to make it really colorful, appealing to your eye. Because remember, I'm a big believer in we eat with our eyes. That's what draws us to food. So I want it to be colorful. But I also go with whatever I can get that's fresh. I cut them lengthwise and then in thin slices. And I do the same thing with a couple of onions. Then I toss them in a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, so EVOO. And then I add in some minced garlic. So if you like a lot of extra seasonings of different types, this is the time to put that seasoning in with the garlic and the EVOO. And then just pour the mixture onto the sheet pan, pop it in the oven at 400 or 425, really depending on your oven and how hot it gets. That pepper mixture will roast in about 10 to 15 minutes, so keep your eyes on it. It really depends on the thickness of your slices, and also I was saying, how hot your oven gets. But you can, and then what I want you to do, so you haven't added a shrimp yet, notice, then stir in the shrimp. I really prefer the peeled into vein, but you can add them in their shells and then just peel at the table. Shrimp cooks very quickly, and it turns a bright pink orange when they're ready. So maybe 2 to 4 minutes tops. Did you catch that? 2 to 4 minutes tops. So you blink and they can be done. So more time is not better because your shrimp will be tough and rubbery, and they're way too pricey for that to happen. And by the way, I do this with scallops as well, and they do beautifully too. They don't take much longer, 2 to 5 minutes, 6 minutes, depending on if they're the small scallops or the big ones. But again, they go from opaque to white when they're ready. So, and then when I pull the sheet pan out of the oven, I take a section of fresh lemon or lime and I just twist it over the entire sheet pan. Ah, that aroma and flavor is so good. Often we just eat the veggies and shrimp as a bowl meal. I might add some sliced avocado on top, but other times we make fajitas by rolling the mixture in a whole wheat tortilla and then sprinkling on some chopped cilantro. So based on your calorie needs, you can cut the tortilla in half or quarters and make mini size ones. This mixture is good reheated as well. Easy, breezy, delicious, and you're only limited to your imagination as to what you can cook on your sheet pan. So grab the freebie. Tell me which recipe you try, or if you have one to tell me about, share it in the private Facebook group. If you aren't a member yet, join us. I'll put the link in the show notes too. But the name of the group is Bariatric Surgery Success with dietitian Dr. Susan Mitchell. See you in the group. I'm all about enjoying real food in amounts that are right for you, depending on where you are down the track. Sheet pan dinners make this easy to do, and you're worth it.
Bariatric Surgery Success with dietitian Dr. Susan Mitchell is produced and owned by Practicalories, LLC. All rights reserved. Remember, the content provided on this podcast is for information purposes only and doesn't create a patient-provider relationship. It's intended to provide reference material and is not designed to provide medical advice. Please consult your healthcare provider regarding any medical issues you have relating to symptoms, conditions, diseases, diagnosis, treatments, and side effects. Podcast guests express their own opinions, experience, and conclusions which do not necessarily reflect or agree with the host, Dr. Susan Mitchell or Practicalories, LLC.